Welcome back, you guys. This is 2Aprons. I'm Gerald David.
And I'm Kitty. And it's fall, y'all! I've got on my favorite spooky season apron. I'm so excited to break it out today. So
Pumpkin spice,
yes.
changing colors. Well, not quite changing colors, but getting close.
Pumpkin spice, though, so be excited.
That's the official. I was like, is it fall yet? And I saw they had pumpkin spice, and I was like, oh, it's fall. I was like, it's official.
I had a chai pumpkin spice latte the other day, and I was so happy. Okay, so.
Tonight we're doing seared steaks and mushroom agrodolce.
With roasted potatoes and Brussels sprouts. Now, if y'all hate Brussels sprouts, I'm sorry for you because I love them and they are amazing. And I actually eat them raw sometimes. Don't judge.
Now, that's weird. But I do not like Brussels sprouts, and I really like these. I've done them before, but I like the roasted because you have a little bit of seasoning to it. It gets rid of a lot of that icky, the texture of it changes and becomes a little bit more like a treat. It's a good meat in the middle.
They're tiny cabbages.
Tiny cabbages.
Tiny cabbages.
They make you look like giants. All right. Well, first up,
it's like broccoli. It's little trees. Like, yes.
A little bit of sugar.
We have some sugar tonight. Now, this is going to go in our Agrodolce, which, if you've tuned into previous episodes, I feel like we've talked about. That's an Italian sweet and sour sauce. But I couldn't find it in my notes because I only just recently started keeping a notebook of all that stuff.
We didn't have quite enough time to Google like we should have.
Hey, I Googled. I know it's an Italian sweet and sour sauce.
Well, then,
this
more than I
is
knew.
golden
Before we started
potatoes.
filming. Oh, I like those. Yes, we have done agrodolce before.
He likes to learn with you guys.
That's right. No, but before we had started doing it for this, I'd never done agrodolce before.
Oh, I hadn't done it before 2Aprons, before our show. This is some grated Parmesan cheese. Delicious. Always love cheese. Y'all know I'm a cheese freak.
Our spice blend.
Our spice blend tonight is onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and whole dried parsley. And it's actually one of his favorite.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good.
This is some balsamic vinegar. It's going to go in our agrodolce as well. Again, sweet and spicy.
I like it when I see these.
These are pickled Peruvian peppers. I love a good alliteration, so there you go.
Peruvian pickled peppers?
Yes.
Say that 42 times backwards.
Sounds like something Alice encountered in Wonderland. Pickled Peruvian peppers, oh my. Oh, that was Dorothy. Anyway, Either way. Crushed red pepper flakes.
Ooh, that's also a
They're
good
going to be hidden, so.
reappearing co-star.
Move some things. Oh, we have some beautiful mushrooms here. Y'all, mushrooms. I love mushrooms. These are big portobellas.
Gorgeous.
One of my faves.
Da-da-da-da.
And the Brussels sprouts or tiny cabbages.
The co-star of tonight's show.
That's right. We have lots of bowls tonight. Our cutting board is getting very full.
Yummy.
Oh, good. So, we're going to start out by dicing the potatoes and cutting off the ends of this little root end of the Brussels sprouts and halving them. That's right, halving them. I'm over enunciating tonight for some reason.
And as she does that, we've kind of already got a head start and got this going. But we've preheated our oven to 450 degrees.
And that's going to be where we're roasting the potatoes and the Brussels sprouts. So very exciting stuff. Oh, it's under the stove, sorry. I took it out to preheat.
You will need one of these.
And we're going to reserve this bowl because when the roasted vegetables get done, we're going to recombine them in here and then we're going to toss them in the cheese.
Oh,
so
yes.
exciting.
Oh,
yes.
So let's look.
I'm going to move some things.
Oh, and we've washed this all. Make sure you guys wash your vegetables.
We washed the mushrooms, the Brussels sprouts, and the potatoes because those are all the fresh vegetables. Everything else is pickled. You're good, so, you know.
And is this a medium dice or a small dice? Or what are we doing?
I want to say it's a medium dice.
Think
yes,
bite size.
medium dice the potatoes. Good
Think
job.
bite size. I just like to confer with the thing. I know how I like them versus
I'm
how
gonna
it
get a
says.
different. That's like you're dicing them like really small.
No.
Okay. You dice them differently than I do, so I always like.
I probably dice them awkwardly. I'm still learning
dice them
my knife
differently than I do.
skills. I've been watching a lot of Top Chef and that stuff. Those guys, man, they're insane. I'm like, okay, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I don't.
Top Chef. We've been watching a lot of Chopped also. It's very fun.
I definitely need to up my knife skill game.
Well, they're professional chefs, and
They are.
we are not yet.
And I'm the guy who uses a fork to hold things.
Hey, that is a good trick. Don't knock
That is, in fact, to show you guys, for those who haven't seen, this is like.
who are new to our show.
That's right. Boom. I know some people just click on for particular recipes, and steak is one of the more popular recipes, but you pretty much Take the fork, stab it in there so your hand doesn't have to be close. That way as you cut, it doesn't really matter what you do because you're at a safe distance.
The way that you are typically supposed to cut, just to give you a little tutorial.
Of the proper way.
You take your fingers and you turn them in so that if the blade does hit anything, it's against your knuckles and you're not actually cutting your skin. It's just kind of the flat of the blade is hitting your knuckles. I haven't been able to master that yet. So what I do is use my nails because I wash my hands before we cook. And I, when necessary, just stab them into whatever I am cutting.
That's kind of, yeah.
And it works out really well. I haven't cut myself yet doing that. I have cut myself trying to pit an avocado with something other than a butter knife, so I recommend you not do that.
That will get you. Yeah, don't do that.
And you want to make sure these are like kind of pretty evenly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back through them. Yeah.
Because it's a matter of like how evenly they cook, right? So if you have like bigger pieces and smaller pieces, the smaller pieces are gonna cook faster. The bigger pieces aren't gonna cook as fast. You're gonna end up with some that maybe aren't cooked the whole way through, and some that maybe are a little burned. Yeah. So it is good to have consistency, but as you do this more, your knife skills will like progress.
You'll just come up and have it.
Definitely gotten better since we even just started the show, let alone started cooking. So it works out really well. There is truth to the whole practice thing. I think the experts, and like don't quote me on this, I didn't Google this, but this is something that Gerald David says all the time that makes me feel much better about myself and my life, is that you have to do something 1,000 times before muscle memory kicks in and you actually like do it correctly and are good at it. So just keep trying, hit that 1,000 time mark, and I guarantee you will be better than the first time you tried it, right?
Yeah, don't judge yourself until you've done it for 10,000 times and then you suck. If you've gotten to like, because even 1,000, you're kind of still just roughing it. That's like, maybe a year after you're on the job or whatever your thing is. But when you get to 10,000, say you're supposed to be a master. If you're at that level, and really the question isn't, are you good at it? Because you probably are. It's, do you enjoy being good at it? Is this the life you pictured for yourself? Do you picture an artist's life living in a loft, or do you picture yourself in a business negotiating and haggling in three-piece suits? It's more about when you picture yourself in 15 years, what does that look like?
Both of those are valid occupations, guys. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what kind of life?
You gotta decide what you want to do.
Because your day is just spent talking with people. So what do you want to be talking about? What kind of people do you want to be with? Because at the end of the day, the most valuable thing you have will be your relationships. And the kind of environment you set will change what kind of relationships you have. Because different people are attracted to different environments.
And this is something I was not aware of when I was younger and growing up, but Gerald David has definitely brought more awareness to this part of my life. But like, build your community, man. Like, find people who have similar interests, who, not all similar interests. You want to have some diversity in there, like some opposing viewpoints, some like discussion points. Like, you want to see other people's points of view, but build people who care about the same foundational like values that you do, and like, you're gonna have a good friend group, and it's gonna be all right.
That's right. It's weird to say, but character before craft, because craft will come, character won't.
And now our PSA is done, and we'll get back to cooking.
And I think we now thinly slice these.
Yes, we're gonna thinly slice those. These can actually go in a sheet pan with olive oil. Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. Here's the sheet pan.
There's our sheet pan.
Just gonna slide these on.
Drizzle some olive oil on there first. Whoa.
Oh, you want to drizzle olive oil first?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well, actually, you can drizzle it on after, and then we'll toss them in it. It's either way.
But you're right, though. If you do a little bit before it's a base, it's a little bit easier to toss them.
Yeah.
Mainly because we don't like put them in a bowl or anything to toss them. We just kind of do it the least resistance way. So these guys too.
Floor food.
Just
what does it go?
In the trash.
In the trash. That's right.
Oh, and then we salt and pepper this?
Yes, I guarantee you we do. I'm not even going to look.
Go ahead over here.
And then once we get the salt and pepper on, we're going to go ahead and toss them in that olive oil.
Mm-hmm. Salt and pepper, yum, yum, yum.
Salt and pepper? I want some. All
Boom,
right.
boom. Give me that pepper.
We like to rhyme and sing.
That's right.
It happens. And we love pepper.
I
especially love pepper.
So. Yummy. Then I just kind of toss them by hand, and you can keep adding a little bit of pepper if you want. But this way, I'm just kind of getting it mixing. No. Just kind of getting this going, and the oil will help the pepper and stuff stick.
Yeah, it's going to help it adhere, so your stuff will be well seasoned. It's going to taste phenomenal.
Oh, yummy. So is this ready to go in?
Yeah, that's good to go.
All right. The timer will be set for, I think, 20 minutes or 21.
Oh, actually, because I read the directions again because I don't retain things all that time. We're also going to add the spice blend to those.
The whole thing or just some of it?
I'm pretty sure it's the whole thing.
Okay.
Enough of the spice blend to coat. You may have extra.
Oh, yummy. Yummy.
So however much you want. This is one of Gerald David's favorite spice blends. So we probably will add all of it.
No, I'm tilting on purpose so the camera
I know,
can
but
see.
tell me before you do.
You gotta be mobile in production. You gotta be on the fly.
Well, I'm not as used to production as you are, so
That's true.
give me some warning.
She's a natural though. Don't let her fool you.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Boom.
You see why we're engaged.
Oh, that looks yummy. Okay, so what was that time? Is it gonna be 20 or 21 minutes?
I think 19 to 21 minutes.
So I always do 21 because I like them on the crispier side. But it's also about know your oven and know what you like. I like them a little bit blackened, a little bit on that. Especially with some good seasons.
We like them a little more well done.
There we go. If you'll get the oven door for me, because my hands are...
Absolutely.
Boom. Start that timer and we're a go.
Timer is a go. So Gerald David is right. We are going to thinly slice the mushrooms while he gets that ready. And wow, he's using the big knife tonight.
I liked it. Hadn't used that one before. At least I can't remember.
These are relatively new knives for us. So we usually use like the smaller, the shorter blade. It's kind of similar to this, but this one is, I'm liking this. It's cool.
It's really, really...
So this rocking motion that I do, it's actually kind of way easier with this longer blade.
That's what I was thinking. We were watching a lot of Chopped and Iron Chef and a lot of cooking channel stuff. And what we noticed is they were using those knives. And I think that's what made it where they were a little bit more quicker and a little bit more precise. Yeah, that looks good.
A little bit more, keeping them more even.
Yeah, consistent. Yeah, that's a really good job.
Consistent. That is the word I was hunting for and not finding.
Alright, I'm gonna get these steaks ready.
Yes. And now mushrooms are some of my favorite things. Button mushrooms are fine, like those little white mushrooms that you just buy at the supermarket. They're fine, but like I usually like to use something like these baby portobellas. They just tend to have a little more flavor to them. You can also get like super into things like shiitake. Shiitakes are amazing. Cremini or crimini.
Oh, we've done crimini several times before. They turned out really well.
We have, and then there are exotic blends. Like sometimes you can buy them pre-mixed in the grocery store with exotic blends that'll have like several different kinds. If you are into mushrooms, which I am, I suggest you try them because you will find some really cool stuff that you might not have like experienced that flavor profile before. And it can be really fun to experiment with those kinds of things. And you can always Google for a recipe, you know, just like recipe with blah, blah, blah mushrooms. So don't be afraid to experiment.
Let's get this guy. Alright.
And y'all can see I have the big knife tonight. I'm not used to using it, so I am going slowly.
Yeah, just
I have cut myself and caused nerve damage before, and I'd like to avoid that.
Oh, that's not good.
Well,
No, yeah, you want to practice and go low and slow, you know. I have the meat. I have put it on a paper towel. I've patted it dry.
Ah, we're ready to season?
That's right. So salt and pepper time. I like to put heavy salt on this. So what we're going to do is just do a classic sear. I'm going to get the pan up kind of hot for the first 2 minutes of each side. So that's heating up now. I have it on pretty much medium-high. She's putting some pepper. I like to do mine a good, healthy portion of salt. A lot of it will come off when you cook it, but
that
it helps.
was actually salt I was putting on, just to let
yes.
you know. Kind of like almost crusting it, but not quite.
That's right. And you can do that if you'd like for an hour before you serve it. It will help tenderize the meat, but it depends. I'm trying to manage my salt a little bit, so I didn't quite do that. I'm doing it lightly before. But some people do a day before. It just depends on what your plan is, if you're marinating or not. Tonight we're not marinating or anything. So this is pretty basic.
Straight steak, y'all.
Will you switch the pan around and see how hot that
Absolutely.
is? See if it's about
So
sizzle worthy.
you can kind of tell, the way that oil moves, the viscosity, I don't know if y'all can see it, it's very liquidy, which means that pan is hot. So
Yeah,
that's
so I
awesome.
think it's probably ready.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm just going to touch the tip in and see how that reacts.
And you'll know when he does it by the sound. If it sizzles, it's ready.
Yep.
And that was a nice sizzle.
And what we did is we're putting the seasoned side down, and then we'll season the other side now that it's in the pan.
While that seasoned side cooks.
Yes.
Yep.
And again, Kitty will grab the trash can for me so I can wash my hands.
Trash can lid up.
Boom.
Then we're going to do soap
This
on.
is definitely easier with help.
Soap on the plate, soap on the knife, soap on his hands. And then I'm going to step over here and season the other side of the steak.
With salt and pepper again.
So just a little salt there. And you can go as crazy as you want. I've seen people do actual salt crusted dishes.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaky. Typically they crack it, I think, and take it off before they serve it.
They do, and a lot of it does come on. A lot of it's just for presentation. Most of that salt is not going to like go through and actually be part of it.
But you know your health, know what your body needs. If you have high blood pressure, if you have something that's going to like have an issue with salt, like use less, you know, just to be healthy. All right, so we've got our mushrooms thinly sliced. Do you have the timer on for the steaks?
I'm going to have that go for about a minute now. It's been going for about a minute. I'm going to do a minute.
So, you want to tell them about searing?
Oh, yeah. So the way you sear, and I've explained this before, but for the new viewers, the reason why you sear it is to trap the juices in. We do never frozen beef that we're not going to puncture with a thermometer. Normally you'd want your steak, or you want your steak to be 145 degrees, but there's multiple ways to tell how that works. You can use a instant read thermometer and you can puncture it, but that releases some juices, and that will give you a very accurate reading though, so it depends what your priorities are. Or you can go the famous by feel method, using your hand. An open palm, you feel right here, this is your rare steak. This is a well done. See the difference how tight that is versus how soft that is? And then you just go down from there. Ending with medium rare, or actually rare, medium, and well done. So that's kind of how that is. This is raw. This right here is well done. That's medium, medium rare, and rare. So you just kind of touch it a little bit while it's in the pan.
So that's the first side sear on the steaks, and he's going to flip those now and get that sear going on the other side. So he'll let you see what those look like.
And as I lift it up, I make sure some oil gets where it was, so there's not that dry spot. That's kind of a little rookie mistake. Took me a long time to realize I was doing. Oh.
Nice, very pretty.
And you just tell right here, that dark sear. You don't want to burn, right? This isn't Cajun blackened.
It's not blackened, yeah.
So that right there, these striations and everything, look how that is. That turned out really well. That's what you want from a sear. Boom.
He's going to put that back on the heat for that second side to sear, and we've got that on for another 2 minutes. So when you're searing, it's about 2 minutes in a really hot pan on both sides, and then you're going to continue to cook the steak. That's
right. So we'll do 2 and 2, and then we'll do another 2 and 2, but we'll lower the temperature a little bit for a total of 8 minutes. I like mine kind of on the medium rare side. I'm not quite 2 seconds on each side, and you know, one of those old guys that would be like, oh, just knock its horns off and let it touch each side.
Doesn't want it to still move when it's on the plate.
That's right. That's right. But at the same time, I don't want to lose the flavor of the meat. The more you cook it, the more of that flavor you lose. So the benefit of that, and also I guess not really a benefit, but the reason why you can do that is because it's not ground. If there's any bacteria or contaminants, it's on the outside. So that's all you got to cook to kill. What's in the inside has always been on the inside. It's till things start to puncture things like ground beef or things that are mixed, or if this was shredded steak, or if it was anything like that, then you'd have more chances for contamination. But it's kind of a sealed environment right there. So as long as you don't introduce something to it, and you can kind of look at it, and you're buying from good sources, like this comes deliciously provided. I think it probably gets massages. Don't quote me on that. That's not a promise. But yeah, that's how you do it. So we're going now. We're pretty close on that sear.
Just as a note, when you receive meat that's like really raw, like to the point of bloody in the center, that's what's called blue. If somebody says this meat's a little blue, they're referring to it being a little bit undercooked for their taste. They feel like it's a little raw, it's a little bloody, it's a little not cooked to kind of where they want it. And I had an aunt who literally was like lay it on the grill for 2 seconds, I want it bleeding on the plate. Not my thing, but to each their own. You can do that with steak. You want to be, that's pretty much the only thing that I know that you can do that with. There are some other meats, we don't cook with them frequently, so steak is the one I'm familiar with.
So again, make sure that oil hits that dry spot, because once you lift it, that spot will be dry. Flip to the other side. That's smelling so good. Boom,
and we're just flipping back over to continue the cooking process. That's now been seared on both sides. It's locked in those juices. And so now we're going to cook it another 2 minutes on that side, which the timer is going for.
And I've turned down the heat. Not a lot. I pretty much had it on medium-high. Now I've kicked it back down to medium. Ours is a little bit weird because it's like numbers, and I don't know if that translates to you. I don't know if 4 is a 4 in yours. So again, you got to kind of know your instruments, know your tools, spend a little time.
And experiment with them. It's okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's not going to kill you if you overcook it a little. You'll know for next time. You know, it's probably still edible.
And the main thing is tracking your timing. You know, write a little journal, keep track of your timing. How long did I have that in? What was the result? You know, what was the temperature and what was the time? Those are your 2 variables.
Mm-hmm.
What we got going on here? So this is going to be for the fond after?
Yes,
the
so
sauce?
the Agrodolce sauce,
Agrodolce.
which we're going to cook once the steak comes out of the pan. The mushrooms are going to go in. They're going to cook for a couple of minutes just on their own in an even layer. After they've done that and kind of softened a little bit and browned, we're going to add the sugar. We're going to add our balsamic vinegar and the red pepper flakes, as much as you like, which means all of them.
All of it.
Right, because we like spicy.
Do you want me to go ahead and start mixing that up?
No, because we're going to add, the mushrooms have to cook first by themselves. And then we're going to add that stuff into the pan.
Oh, into the pan, not into a bowl separate.
Yup.
This is going to be delicious.
And then basically once the Agrodolce sauce is done, we're done.
Ooh, yummy.
And the veggies, which have about 10 minutes left.
Oh, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. Yummy. Steaks are tracking well.
Steak is going to flip to the other side for its last 2 minutes in about 30 seconds.
I got time to show y'all. This is turning out really well. Delicious cuts of meat. Of course, these are sent to us by awesome people that put things in boxes so we don't have to go to the store. I appreciate that.
We do pay them for it, but they are awesome to do it because if I had to do all this shopping, y'all,
Well, and it's also just about limiting exposure depending what your risk levels are and how you're prioritizing health versus freedom of mobility and all those kind of things. We really like this, and we've tried them all. So just depending what day it is.
Plus, I really hate grocery shopping, y'all.
Oh.
So that is 2 minutes. We're going to flip those back over.
Again, having the oil hit that. Boom.
Oh, so pretty. So pretty.
Yummy. Yummy.
All right, we've got that for another 2 minutes. Our timer is now going. Our vegetables have about 8 minutes left. Our sauce is going to take about 5 minutes.
It will. So delicious.
And then we are going to eat, y'all, and I am starving.
So hungry. Oh.
So excited for some delicious food in the fall. It's so nice out, you guys. The last few days have just been so wonderful to go out. It's not sticky, hot, and gross. It's just so wonderful.
It's been really nice.
It's not hoodie weather yet, y'all.
No, not
Girls,
quite hoodie weather.
I know you're dying for it. I'm dying for it. Who doesn't want to like wrap up in their boyfriend's hoodie or your hoodie, depending on what you want. Like, it's all good. I just don't have that many hoodies, and he does, and I love them because they're big and I can kind of
so many hoodies have come up missing. If found, please, please call me. I am searching for about 45 different extra large hoodies.
Okay, anyway, but I love to wear his hoodies, and I mean hoodies in general, and
That's right.
Not quite there yet, but we're definitely closer, and I'm super excited about it. Pumpkin spice hoodies.
Yes, yeah.
Spooky season. It's all
These mushrooms look good.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should probably try one for quality assurance. Yes, they're beautifully cut.
Yeah.
Whoever did that was a genius.
Really, really was. Yeah, that was good. Look at that.
Knife skills like you can't imagine.
Yeah, not too thin, not too thick. Mushrooms are kind of like little sponges of flavor. So depending on the size, if you do them too small, I think they can get a little bit mushy. They can saturate a little bit in liquid. If you do them too big, it's almost like the center of them doesn't quite hit. So I found mushrooms, there is a little bit of magic to it. Not like a potato or something where no matter what, it's going to have that center flavor, I think.
Magic mushrooms are amazing.
They are. The flavor palette is delicious.
The flavor palette is wonderful.
So what about the flavor palette? Well, what does mushrooms pair well with?
I would have to actually look at the flavor Bible for that.
Is it like, I know we see a lot of like sherry vinegars and things like that, so I know it's going to pair well with red wine.
Well, balsamic vinegar is...
What we got there?
Is that our last 2 minutes, I think?
I believe so.
All right. You good, or do you want to leave them on another? Or
No,
how
I'm good.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is just kind of... Now, this may not translate really, but the touch. So these are hot, but they're not that hot. Right? You can put your finger on it.
You can kind of tell, like, as far as
where that is. That's really, really... Now, obviously, I'd want to use my other hand to test that. Don't, like, do that because it tightens that muscle. But I like mine medium rare or rare. So I kind of tend to take them off a little early rather than late. Unlike my vegetables that I'd rather take off late than early.
He likes the vegetables blackened.
But we are now ready for our fond.
Yes, we're gonna start that Agrodolce sauce, y'all. I'm excited because I'm starving to death.
Oh yes, so.
I mean,
so
you can't tell, but like.
What goes on here? What are we doing?
So what
mushrooms?
we're gonna do is we're gonna throw our mushrooms in there in an even layer for about 2 minutes, which our timer is already set thanks to the steaks.
What does the heat need to be on?
It's gonna be on probably medium high, which means probably exactly where it is.
Oh, I bet so. Or actually, I'll turn it up a little bit higher since I turned it down for the last bits for the steaks.
Yeah, just whatever the steaks were typically
Do
on.
we need to add salt and pepper or anything?
I'm sure it tells us to, but yeah, season with salt and pepper.
Yeah. Mushrooms, I think it's
Go ahead
important
and do
to,
that.
especially pepper. You might be watching your salt intake, but you want a little bit of pepper for a little bit of bite, a little bit of texture.
The interesting thing that I found, learned about salt and pepper is that salt enhances flavor, pepper adds flavor.
Yes.
So you want to kind of watch out with that. If you're wanting to enhance something's flavor, salt will help do that. Still kind of watch how much because it is a in moderation thing. Pepper will actually add flavor to it. So, you know.
Which is great for steaks because that's all that salt is doing is accenting, drawing out that flavor, making like a big pointed arrow, spinny cardboard dude pointing at it. Like, over here.
One of the really fancy ones who's
That's
like
right.
good at it.
That's right.
Not the dude where you're like, oh, he dropped it in traffic again. That's sad.
So sad. So sad.
Oh, that reminds me of the Joker movie, y'all. That movie had me depressed for like a week and a half.
But it was
It
good.
was such a good movie,
And
but like
introspective. It was a film.
it
That
had
was a
me
film.
depressed because it was so good, you know, like, but still.
Stirring these guys up. That's what that looks like. We set a timer for 2 minutes, I believe.
I mean, it's not going, but it was set for 2 minutes, so that is accurate. It is now going.
Yeah. So we got about a minute left on these.
Yeah. So we'll probably pull that in a minute. But they're in the fond. They're in the oil that was in there. We didn't have to add any because there was plenty in there to keep the steak moist and everything.
And the steak even let go some of its fat. So that's why they particularly say, like, don't do it in a separate pan or try and whatever. Get
Don't
that so
wipe out or wash out the
That's
pan
right.
between.
let that flavor carry over. And it also ties the side dish together with your main entree. So there's a tie-in. It all goes together. If someone was to be like, what does this represent or what's kind of the mood of this, they'd be able to see it. You know,
And it would be steak.
Well, really, it's the farmer's harvest.
Oh,
You know, you got your vegetables, you got
look
your
at
steak,
you.
and it's just tied in, you know, after a hard day in the field, you want something substantial but healthy and balanced. Not a lot of carbs, not a lot of weight to it.
He's
you
so
know.
good at painting those pictures, y'all. I just love
Yeah.
it.
So this is coming good. I think we probably got a little 30 seconds or so. What we got?
Actually 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, what do we add now?
So now we are going to add the sugar, the vinegar, and the red pepper flakes.
All right.
So we've got our sugar.
Yummy.
We've got our vinegar, and this is about a 4th cup of
Yeah.
balsamic vinegar, and I actually measured it, and it was. And
No, they're
then
pretty good. They're pretty good about everything being kind of accurate.
We have our red
Yes,
pepper
which
flakes.
we use
Unless
all of.
They tell you you're gonna have more, and like, but they're good to let you know.
They are.
Except for that spice blend tonight, which we did not have more of because it's delicious.
That's right. There's not going to be any extra.
Yeah.
How long does this go back on the
So
heat
that's
for?
going to go back on the heat for 3 minutes.
All right.
And we're going to stir it frequently
Yes.
during those 3 minutes. I was checking because sometimes it's like leave it, sometimes it's like stir occasionally, and sometimes it's like no, stir this.
Mushrooms a lot of
Frequently.
time will want to stick, so they'll take a little bit of attention.
Now there's enough liquid in that pan that like sticking is not going to be an issue. But
No,
it's
even
gonna...
even before I was just dealing with it. Yeah, it was wanting to stick a little bit on me, even with the liquid in the pan.
No, I mean with the balsamic in there now.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's enough liquid. That is probably not going to stick.
No,
but
that
you
makes
still want to
sense.
stir it
That
frequently
makes
because
sense.
that balsamic can caramelize, and you kind of don't want that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It'll
okay.
reduce, but if it gets hot enough and just sits there, that balsamic will caramelize, and you'll end up with like an interesting texture. Just tell people you meant to. It's
Coming on, it's pretty much doing a reduction. Isn't that what they
yeah,
call this, right?
We're reducing it.
Fancy
Ooh.
cooking words. I
He's
learned.
been watching those cooking shows, y'all.
I've been learning. I've been upping my culinary skill game on the interwebs.
He used to hate watching them with me.
Oh, then she got me.
And then he started watching them with me, and now he's like, "Don't watch them without me. I want to know what happened."
Yeah, and I knew it was gonna happen. That's why I was like, don't start.
No, it's too
No,
late.
I
I love watching any cooking show. Mostly competition cooking shows are like my favorite, but I love watching any cooking show. Chopped is like my all-time favorite because you learn so much. Like you learn so much about different ingredients and like all kinds of stuff. Techniques.
That's what I noticed about Chopped. They're really good. The judges are that while other things are being cooked, they talk about the technique. They talk about it and you actually learn something. The others, you all kind of learn something too, but they seem to be a little bit more focused toward the drama and the fact that all these people are forced to live together and whatnot. Like if you like go to a restaurant, you have to live together. I was like, what is this, a cruise ship? I was like, I thought this was a top tier restaurant. Like these guys should be able to go home at the end of a day, right?
They don't go home, but I legit take notes during Chopped. Like I will sit there with my notebook and pen and be like, oh, you do this. Oh, that's that technique. Oh, that's what that ingredient is. Oh, here's how you use that. Like it's one of my faves.
Oh, this is coming along beautifully. It is reducing. It's still very, wet. This will pretty much reduce down from this very wishy-washy.
Wet.
Yep, to something very static and almost like a very sauce, very thick.
I don't know. I mean, you can control the level of thickness.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the
you
longer
can.
you leave it on, the thicker it's going to get to the point of caramelization, where at that point, like, it's not going to be a sauce. It's just going to be, like, almost kind of a candy or hard. And especially when it, like, hits the air and cools, it's going to get even harder. So you don't want it to caramelize or crystallize or anything.
Yeah, so not that thick, but, yeah, it won't be squishing around like this.
But, again, like, the longer you leave it on, the thicker it's going to get. So you can kind of control that to your taste.
You definitely can.
And this says it's only got 15 more seconds.
Yeah, it's going to need longer. It's going to need another minute or so. I'm going to up the temperature a little bit.
And this actually says until it's slightly...
What's it say?
That was the vegetables. It actually says until it's slightly thickened. Those still have 1 more second. That is the mushrooms. So we're going to leave the mushrooms to like kind of take care of themselves for a minute.
We're going to leave... The potatoes look really close. I'm going to leave them in for another minute, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And we'll just kind of keep that as the timer on our mushrooms.
And that's to preference. When it comes to veggies, I kind of like mine more on that blackened, almost Cajun, especially with this particular spice blend. They're not, they're not calling it that or whatever, but I kind of like that, so I'm just pushing it a little that way. Just like these steaks, I would recommend don't season these too heavily, but if you have a little secret spice or something you want to add, a favorite seasoning, dude, it's definitely in the realm of you're not ruining it. That's fair play.
And there are some really good steak spices out there, like specifically designed for steaks. So, like, you want to, if you're feeling adventurous, like, go try them out.
Yep.
The worst that happens is, you don't love it. Okay, try a different one next time,
That's
or
right.
don't try anything next time. See what you like.
And it's steak sauce that's the ruiner of good meat. With steak sauce, there's no point. Like, why did you buy that? Other than, well, I guess there's not no point. There's still nutrition. The fact it has no antibiotics. A little bit of the principle of it had a happier life. You know what I mean? You don't want the cow that's getting tased in the bum the whole time. You don't want to eat that hatred and all that, like, pain and suffering. You want something that kind of puts good energy out and goes into that. We all absorb everything around us, whether we like it or not. And I think that's important to remember. So you wouldn't want to use a sauce on any good meat. But a little bit of seasoning done right can really draw that flavor out and I think really make a good cut of meat stand out. Like, there's no reason you can't turn that $14 cut of meat at your local grocer and make it equivalent to, one of the really high-end restaurants. Someone might pay $50, $65 for that steak. When really you can definitely replicate that at your house. But it is about properly placing those spices and, the secret's out of the bag. It's salt. That's going to be your main friend with steaks. It really, really is. And so, like, the secret's out. A lot of chefs and a lot of big restaurants are like, dang it, we want them to think it's a secret thing in a different bottle with the label ripped off. It's just salt. Maybe a little pinch of pepper and a little pinch of something else to make it unique. Some restaurants want to kind of differentiate a little bit. But you'll find that's the main thing. This is starting to...
Gerald David's also a little bit of a purist. Oh, that's our veggies and our thing. We don't do sauces for our meat. Like, some people will do a red wine sauce or this or that sauce. Yeah, we don't do that.
This Agrodolce is about what we do. That we'll do something like that. And I'll use it mostly on the vegetables, and I'll put it on the side for me.
Mm-hmm. And I actually don't eat red meat, but these look really good.
Ooh, yummy. These look perfect. Look at this, guys.
Oh my gosh, those are
perfect.
So beautiful.
Those aren't even black. I'm going to take them out now, just photogenic. Put that here on our available.
Beautiful.
Boom. Turn our oven off. Put this guy back. Stir the mushrooms a little bit more. I haven't taken them off the heat yet because I'm still kind of letting them thicken. But I think we're at that point.
Yeah, they're definitely, it's starting to kind of boil and bubble, and that's going to thicken it pretty quickly.
And the way you tell, for me, watch out, Kitty, don't let me, there you go. The way I can tell is because when I swipe through it, it takes a second for it to fill back in. It's not instant. You know, it takes just a little hesitation before it fills back in. You got that there? Like, say you swipe through it, boom. See how it just has that little bit of break? So now that's a thicker sauce. It's the slightly thick they're talking about. So I'm going to leave it off the heat, let it breathe while she does that. Turn off my eye.
I am done.
Oh, yummy. If you'll put those over here, I'll top them.
Absolutely.
Let's start putting up some of these. Oh, wait, weren't we going to mix this with something? The peppers?
I think the peppers are a garnish.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, garnish
Awesome.
with peppers.
Ooh,
We didn't have to do anything to them tonight. Oh, we were going to mix the veggies with the cheese. Here, we'll just garnish with that.
That's what I do. I garnish them, yeah.
That's typically what we do. We're supposed
there
to
you
toss them in the bowl, but I can't imagine
No.
it's going to affect very much difference, to be honest.
And the difference is whether or not they're baked on all sides versus melted on top. And I like this better.
Well, no, because we were just tossing them with it.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
start putting these guys all up.
Yup.
Boom, boom. Oh, sorry for the sound, you guys. Sorry.
We were not so
sorry.
much plain as you go tonight, guys.
No, yeah, you can tell. Well, this one kind of kept us constantly busy. We didn't have the downtime we typically would. So I'll give it that. I will. And I'm going to put my sauce on the side.
And if you'll put mine on the veggies, that would be great.
I will.
Thank you.
This is very, very
And again,
delicious.
y'all, make the dish the way you want it. Like, I'm doing my sauce on the veggies, he's doing his sauce on the side. Like, it's all good. Your preference is the way it should be, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's really cool about this. At a restaurant, you have to kind of hope the guy understands or even will let you. This, you're in your own house, man. You definitely are the boss. You don't have to...
Can I get some more mushrooms?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
The mushroom for Miss Kitty. Oh, there we
Like
go.
my favorite.
And if you'll garnish...
I'm going to garnish with some picante peppers. Give it a nice little pop of color there. Make that pretty.
Oh, that smells so good.
And it looks really nice too. Those peppers add a really nice touch.
Oh,
It's time for our dance
that's right. Seared steaks and mushroom agrodolce.
with roasted potatoes and Brussels sprouts.
Oh, whack, 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 whack. Steak and potatoes, fancy bougie style. Look at that. Do kind of a good close up. Look at that. Steam coming off there. Oh, we got that right. So right. Delicious. Thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. We love you guys.
Bye.